Welcome back to the Lipoedema Podcast. We're your host, Shell
and Tiana, and it is the very last episode of 2025.
It's wrap-up time.
Holy moly.
What a year, from babies, like growing families, to cancer, to death, to, oh my goodness, that's just in the background.
And then all the guests that we had this year.
Yeah.
I was just, as we were preparing for this episode, I wouldn't call it preparing, that's a loose term. As we were thinking about what we're going to talk about, I was looking back on all the episodes that we have, and I'm like, how are we going to
How do we wrap this up? There'll be no nice little bow on this one.
No, I have no note, because it's just, we've had such a diverse cohort of guests, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the beauty of it. Like, because this year we didn't go searching for people as much. Like, people came to us and the community asked for people. And so I think this year, that's why it was just so diverse, because it was people who wanted to share their stories or wanted to share their expertise on lipedema. And I think that that's my best takeaway, is that, and how far we've gone, how much we've grown organically from our amazing audience.
Yeah, that's so true. And like, if you're listening right now and you thought about coming on the podcast, even just like a little tiny thought, even just like a little sprinkling of a thought, you wonder what it would be like to be on the podcast, please get in touch with us, because we would love to have you on. We need that diverse perspective from people who live with lipedema. And if you're a provider, like any kind of provider, it could be, we've had GPs, we've had surgeons, we've had proceduralists, we've had nutritionists, and whatever, counselors. If you provide for the lipedema community, we'd also like to hear from you. So just get in touch with us and we'll schedule you in for 2026.
Well, that's it. One of our aims is to make that automated.
That'd be lovely. Yeah, because we don't have to work as hard to find people to come on the podcast. But there's a lot of like scheduling that we do, a lot of that behind the scenes stuff that we do. And then recently, when I was scheduling people, I put the wrong date in. So we had to reschedule because we were expecting them to be online and they weren't. And I was like, where are you? And because I put the wrong date in, because I'm a silly.
He's just human.
I'm a silly Billy.
Because you're human.
Yeah.
Only human, darling.
Exactly. What I loved about this year is we had quite a few people that not only support the lipedema community with their expertise, but they have lived experience with lipedema. And I just find that so special, that they have like a deeper empathy. And I wonder whether that just enriches the experience that they provide for the lipedema community.
Absolutely, because they're already taking a seat at the table with you. They're already ready, and you don't have to tell them a whole big thing, because they've got the background already. I was actually talking to someone yesterday, and they'd been at the lipedema conference this year, and they said that they danced, and they hadn't danced for 15, 20 years, but they were surrounded by women just like themselves, and they just felt this freedom to express themselves. They didn't feel judged. They didn't feel like all the eyes were on them because they looked different, and they had the best night of their lives. And that just warmed my heart when I heard that by sharing, by being included, that we can really just open up and blossom.
Yeah, there's definitely something to be said about the importance of community when it comes to struggling with any kind of struggle. Like, you've been through grief this year, very deep grief. To have a community around you that understands grief, that's really beneficial. In our community, to have people with lived experience of chronic conditions, that's so nourishing to our souls, to just be around people that get it. Same when I had Nova this year, to have other mums or other people who were experiencing postpartum with me. Like, that sense of community really does help you get through things that are really tough.
Yeah.
We can't expect to do that on our own, I suppose.
Yeah. And even though everybody's experience is different, there are those commonalities that just make it that much easier.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think of some key takeaways that I've had, and I suppose something that has flipped for me this year, just going to the lipedema conference and then hearing from some of our guests, is my I broadened my perspective on like surgical interventions and whom to like choose. I really think that it's super individual. And that you need to look at their liposuction experience, because that's the procedure that they're doing for you. It's liposuction. So the more procedures that they've done with great outcomes, and I add that with great outcomes, and then your rapport with them is great, that's like gold standard for you.
Yeah.
You have a great rapport. They're very experienced in doing the procedure that they're doing to you, and they've had great outcomes from all of their I'm not saying all of their experience, like we're all humans and but I just think that there's a lot, like the communication going back and forth in the lipedema community can be quite hard to sift through, and it makes you question your decisions.
Yeah.
But truly find a vast array of people, surgeons, proceduralists, whatever, go and meet them and then look at their history. And
what can they do for you? How are they going to look after you? Because if you don't have a good rapport with someone, it doesn't matter how high up the list everybody else ranks that person. If you don't gel with them, you're not going to put yourself in their hands. Or you're not going to, even if you do put yourself in their hands, it's not going to feel as good as it would if you had a good connection with the person.
So true.
And I think we spoke about that early on with like going overseas, like, you know, having those interviews with the surgeons overseas and seeing who you built more rapport with, who you had more of a connection with before proceeding.
Yeah, which is such an expensive exercise. You know, coming from Australia, if you are thinking about going abroad, you absolutely should. But that's quite an added investment to actually go and meet them in person, a variety of people, to see which one's best for you.
Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking about, and this is just from my personal experience, because I remember before I had my surgeries, I was worried about it growing back. You know, that worry, the rhetoric of, well, if they take it out, can it grow back? And if they take it all out, it won't grow back. But if they leave some in, then it's definitely going to grow back. All of that stuff. It's bloody nonsense. The whole thing, in my perspective, is bloody nonsense, because my Dr. Teo, who did my surgeries, did an incredible job. And then I got pregnant. And that added a layer of complexity to my hormones, to my weight gain, and all of those things that influences lipedema. We don't have control over that. I have control over my actions towards that, i.e. my conservative management. The fact that I am now experiencing pain or have swelling or like my legs don't look and or feel the way they did post-op is not a reflection of my surgeon's work.
Yes.
Or the proceduralist, or it's not that surgery still worked, but there's other things outside of that control. And that's on me and the universe.
Yeah, there's so many factors. And you don't want all the fat taken out, because we need fat. Fat's healthy. Fat stores our vitamins. Fat stores our hormones. So you don't want to get rid of all your fat. You need some.
And then you also need to live your life.
Yeah.
You know, so like that happened, and I have a gorgeous new baby. She's 13 months, almost 14 months. And like, I wouldn't change it for the world. And like, that's my life.
Yep.
And then like, I've got a little bit of pain. I'm going to deal with that in a different way.
Yeah.
You know, what I am excited about is when she gets a little bit older, because I'm not comfortable going in for surgeries while she's still young, is to eventually target my arms and target my stomach. Yeah. But that's for the future. And I'll go into it much wiser than I did in my first surgeries.
Yeah. And I think that's something also, and it's always been something in the back of my mind, like with, you know, we only have 5 or 6 lipedema specialist surgeons, but we have so many plastic surgeons who are trained in liposuction.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know a lot of people are starting to go afield now, and I think that's great, because we shouldn't feel like we can only go to these 5 people and that we have to wait, 2-3 years to get into them. Like, you can look further afield, and you can also look at proceduralists.
Yeah.
Because they have the same training in that technique, which is something that we only learnt this year. Like we're learning things all the time. Like, cosmetic surgeon isn't a thing. That's not a word. You can't. Cosmetic surgeon, the board is a word, but people aren't cosmetic surgeons.
Yes, they're not surgeons.
They're not surgeons.
They're proceduralists.
They're proceduralists.
That's right.
So I think, that was a massive shift for me to go, okay. And I was thinking about it the other day, and it's like, well, when you want to go for a skin cancer check, you don't always have to go to the dermatologist.
Mm.
These people who are trained in how to look after skin cancer that are just GPs, not just GPs, like that's a hard job, but who are GPs but have trained in how to detect skin cancer, how to diagnose, how to do the biopsies and all of those things. And it's the same with liposuction. There are GPs who have specialized in liposuction
as a procedure.
as a
and they've
procedure.
done it over and over and over again and have had great outcomes or not.
Yeah.
And then you just wouldn't choose the ones that didn't.
Yeah, that's right.
And
That's right.
same, there is
So
our
it just opens it all up.
totally.
Yeah.
And there is our amazing Lipoedema, knowledgeable plastic surgeons and surgeons that have been so generous to the Lipoedema community.
Yeah.
But there's also plastic surgeons outside of the Lipoedema community and outside of Lipoedema advocacy that if they have done heaps and heaps of liposuction and have had great outcomes and have a great rapport with you, are also not to be excluded off the list.
Yes, because all liposuction is lymph saving.
Yeah, all the technique.
All the techniques are lymph saving. No one wants to
Now.
damage you. Now, no one wants to damage your lymphatics.
Yeah. And if they use the water assisted or the WOW, PAL, the vibration assisted, like they're all lymph sparing techniques.
Yep, phaser.
And it's the physical, like it's quite a physical procedure. So it's about them being like trained enough physically to be doing it for that 4-hour period. Or
and be proficient enough to,
But
there's lots of expertise out there. And I just don't think we've explored it. And I think that's something we can.
I think we're a bit scared to explore it because we're hearing the back and forth about we should only go to X, Y, and Z. And you shouldn't go to X, Y, Z. And like you should go to the person that you feel the most comfortable with that has enough experience and great outcomes from a liposuction procedure.
Yeah. Yeah. And that comes back to, and I know we've touched on it a few times this year, that we are so individual. Like I read this thing recently and it was like, when you do a test, you have like so many in your sample set and they do an N. So like an N of 100 people. So we have to look at it as we're the N1.
Yeah.
There's only one of us with the tapestry that is our life. And so we can't expect like what works for you won't work for me and vice versa. The same as when you go to a personal trainer, you do what she says, you eat what she says, you're not going to look like her. And I think that whole narrative has to change and we need to start coming back to ourselves.
Yeah, I love that concept, to come back to ourselves. There's a lot of comparison online and it's natural.
Yeah.
It's natural, but we all function differently as well. And like the efforts that we put in work differently on different people. And so there's no one size fits all. There's no one product that suits everybody. And it can be really confusing in a world of social media where there's lots of advertising, especially like influencer advertising. And Shelley and I are pretty cognizant of this.
Yeah.
But in terms of if we were to advertise things for our integrity, it's things that we think are good. It's not things that we think would be good for you. But we're going to talk about the things that we think are good. And if you choose to invest in those things because we thought that they're good for us, then that's your decision. You have autonomy over that.
Absolutely.
But I think there's a misrepresentation of people online talking about the things that they find good, that the message is that like we should buy it because that's good for lipedema.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't work for them and they're like, oh, but this person told me that it'd be good for me.
And then we're like, oh, I failed. I did it wrong.
Or I misrepresented something.
Yeah. And we take the blame of that again. And that's not nice. That's not good.
Anything we recommend on this podcast, anything that we recommend on social media is actually just things that we use in our day that we like for ourselves that seem to have helped us.
And they're helping us now.
Yes.
Right? Because that changes too.
Yeah.
Because something that could be working great, like I was wearing compression every day and that was great. And now I'm not wearing compression and that's okay. But it's not working for me at the moment because it's not fitting in with what I'm doing.
Totally.
And the same with sometimes, a supplement or whatever it may be just isn't having the same effect.
Yeah.
Like whether your body gets used to it and goes, I don't need that anymore or whatever it is. So we've really got to own what we need, what we want.
Yeah. And our decisions to try things.
Yeah, that's right.
I will always be curious to try things.
Yeah.
And I'll always really hope in my soul that it's the thing.
Yeah.
It's the thing that's going to change my life. But it often isn't.
Yeah.
And it's often nobody else's fault. And I'm just like, oh, well, I won't repurchase.
Yeah, that's right. You've got to try things.
Got to try things.
You've got to try things. You can't, bury your head in the sand and say, no, you've got to give it a go. But you also got to not feel like a failure if it wasn't for you.
So true. The great thing is, and I know people say that our condition is very expensive. It is, but there's a lot of foundational things that you can do that cost $0. Like Shelley talks about she soaps herself up in the direction of her lymph. That is free. You can walk for free. You can open up your lymph nodes for free. You don't need a fancy device or anything. If you have a fancy device, great. If you use it, awesome. If you don't use it, don't buy any other fancy devices. But you can do a lot of things to support your lymphatics, a lot of things to help your lipedema for free.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What else? I'm just trying to have a look back on
who we've had.
I mean, when we had Renee on about Renee Grandi, she's a women's health, she's a neuroscientist actually.
Oh, she was good.
Fantastic. Women's hormones. We are so complex as people living in women's bodies with the hormonal cycle. Literally anything can happen. We have limited, we can't see through a crystal ball to see what's going to happen with our hormones, and our hormones affect our lipedema. So just chill.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that, which is hilarious because I'm not a chill person. There's no chill in me. But I recognize that it's important to chill sometimes and just let things happen. But yeah, let's just chill. Let's make 2026 the year of us just chilling.
Let's just chill.
And just do the things that we know that we can do.
And that we enjoy. Can we get some joy?
Yeah, we don't want to be sitting on our vibration platform hating life.
Yes.
We don't want to be dry brushing with something that feels too scratchy on our skin just because somebody says we should. Let's do the things that we know support ourselves that we actually enjoy doing. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the one.
26.
Yeah.
Chill. And chill in an enjoying way.
Yeah. Be more intuitive. What do I feel like doing today? Do I want to go to the gym? Do I want to rest? Do I want to go for a walk? Do I want to go for a swim? What have I got time for? And do that.
I want a pool. We're saving for a pool. We're not doing a very good job at saving for a pool. But it would be nice to have a pool in the house. Not in the house.
No, at the house.
At the house.
I go, yeah. I'm doing some renos at home at the moment. I walked the builder through and showed him all the things I wanted to do. And I said, and at the bottom of my wish list is a pool. He goes, okay, keep it down the bottom.
Oh,
okay. Even just a plunge pool.
I know.
I go plunge in it.
Heaven. And I only think about it when it gets to spring.
Yeah.
And then in winter, I'm like, I don't care. We don't need a pool. By the time it gets warm, we need a pool.
Yeah. So, for 9 months of the year, we want a pool.
Exactly. Oh, man. Well, so Shelley and I are going to take a break for the rest of the year. And then we're going to come back sometime in late January, early February. If you want to be on the podcast, please get in touch with us. We are super keen to fill out our schedule just like we did this year and not put too much effort into trying to find people to be on the podcast. Please come on the podcast and tell your story. We love hearing from you. And we hope you have a great Christmas. It's Christmas time.
Christmas. Wow.
I'm not ready, as per usual.
No.
I'm not ready for Christmas.
All right, we're actually going shopping together
next week
to do our Christmas shopping.
Yeah. And so that means that I need to prepare a list of the things that I need to go shopping for, which is now on my anxiety list. Because there's no point going shopping if I don't know what I'm shopping for.
Yeah.
So that's on my list this week to do, is to do a Christmas shopping.
Okay.
But Christmas time is hectic. The other thing I just wanted to say, because Christmas time is full of connection and parties and fun, just give yourself permission to have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this to myself too, because I'm very rigid, as we've established in previous episodes. But I know that if we go out of an evening, I'm not going to get home and be able to do the conservative stuff that I would usually do of an evening, and that really bothers me. But I need to allow for that fun stuff, which is also very nurturing in a different way, to just take precedence for this season.
Yeah, because community and connection is so important for us. for everybody. We're a tribe, like we come from tribes. Having that community is really important.
And if that looks like a later night than usual, if that looks like a glass of bubbly that you wouldn't often have, if that looks like a piece of panettone on Christmas Day, yes, please. And just allow yourself to have a bit of fun. And there's always the rest of 363 days in the year to do the things that you know that support your lipedema.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm literally just talking to myself. I'm going to play this back every day forever.
I think that's it. Thank you for listening. It's been an amazing year. And here's to the level up in 2026.
Yes, thank you so much. And
thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year.
Bye. The Lipoedema Podcast 2025 is powered by Elegance Lymphatic Care. Lipoedema and its symptoms vary from individual to individual. The opinions and advice voiced in this podcast are of a personal nature and used for educational purposes.
Please take away from this podcast what resonates with you, and please see your GP or preferred specialist for diagnosis and healthcare. We are Shelley and Tiana from the Lipoedema Podcast. Until our next episode, bye for now.